Today, we recap a very long project here in the Auto Obsessive Garage. Welcome back to the Auto Obsessive Garage. Chadwick with you again for another installment of Project Mariner Blueberry. And that is our 1992 Mazda Miata that you can see over my shoulder here. This has been a very long-term project and a huge restoration on all fronts. Exterior, interior, mechanically, big suspension overhaul. A lot. It took a lot. I don't even want to estimate how many hours I poured into this car, but it is finally finished. The review was super fun. Check that out if you haven't yet. But man, let's just recap, because it takes so much. Let's recap the entire project of how Project Mariner Blueberry rolled into the garage and what it rolled out as. Let's get in the garage and do a little reminiscing. And here's the specimen I was able to secure, a 1992 NA Miata. So not bad, body's pretty straight for the most part. I want to go over some of the known issues of this car. Obviously these really cool Mazda Miata turn signals with the little intakes and lights are both broken even more just then, are a little smashed up, so I've got some nice replacements to go in there. Down here you do have aftermarket fog lights that we're gonna go ahead and pull those off, of course. The roof, not so good. There's a couple holes here and there. This tape in the back window, never a great sign when you see that on a car. So we are gonna put a new top on it, obviously. It does have those cool taillight covers that were kind of popular for a while, so those are neat. I'll pop those off and see what's shaking underneath. So these are pretty rare. I couldn't find too much information online. They are BBS Pininfarinas. Check how cool the center cap is there. Just to get replacement center caps, so this is the only one that's got good color on it still. The rest are kind of faded. Those center caps are over $40 a piece, so that's interesting. These are nice wheels. They're pretty lightweight from what I've read, and they are 14 inches, so we're just gonna put some sticky rubber on it and call it good. Here you can see that center cap faded there. I don't know if this actually has a date on it. 2003, yeah, that's an 18-year-old tire. I mean, just look at the dry rot. It's even in the tread grooves down in there. Yeah, it's not a safe tire, guys. Speaking of checking your tires, look at this. I don't know if you guys know, but I got a heck of a deal on some racing slicks. So let's drop the roof and let me show you what's going on inside of this Miata. So stepping into the interior, things go from acceptable to really not acceptable. So first and foremost, seats are seen better days. Passenger has this definitely not accidental slice in it. I do have some covers I'm gonna put on, just a spoiler alert for that. But as you look around, pretty standard stuff, aftermarket radio. Yeah, that all looks good. Shift boot, totally shredded. Same with e-brake. Don't know what this felt pad is over here. Dash isn't cracked too bad. One crack there. This dash pad is just horrible. These ones tend to shred more, so it's got some big holes in it. We're gonna replace that, and I think I'm gonna wrap it. They sell these leather wrap kits that you can do, so I might do that. One of my favorite features, and I've just gotta show you this, these home theater speakers. Polk Audio, so at least it's a recognized brand. Let me get that right for you. These things, when you stop this car or go around a corner, they fly out. You see some wires there going back to our home theater surround sound. And then some wires under the steering wheel. Don't like to see that, so we'll have to see what's going on there. Not really excited about that. But when you remove your shift boot and center console area, and you can see the transmission straight through this hole, that's a whole other issue that needs to be resolved. This insulator is completely shot. I've actually never ever seen one this far gone. There is nothing. There's just the inside ring holding onto the actual shifter assembly, and then the outer rubber ring here, and then I can see the turret and the transmission down below. It's not gonna work. So to rebuild it, you can buy a kit. Popping the hood on the 92 Miata, you can see here that we do have a 1.6 liter engine with a lot of oil on the valve cover. That's beautiful. That's always nice to see. The engine does leak quite a bit of oil, as evidenced on my garage floor. So I see valve cover for sure on the sides. It looks like a lot of oil in the back, and I know there's, I believe it's the cam angle sensor. It's been a little while since I worked on a Miata like this. But I believe there's a cam angle sensor seal back there that just kind of spews the O-ring. So we're definitely going to be inspecting that, clearing that out if we need be. I'm replacing all the hoses, which you should anyway. You can see a crack there on that hose, and who knows what else is in rough condition. So I'm actually replacing all the hoses under here. So I do have the heat shield for that. So the suspension components and steering components of the car. You do see the OEM style end links that are completely shot. Yeah, you can see there that the end links are roughed up. Continuing with that theme, the outer tie rod, and you can see here the bushing is completely shot. The tie rods are definitely worn out, so that'll need a replacement. You can see the upper control arm there where it comes out, and I'm really just putting to the primary bushing there that's completely ripped open. Now these Takiko Blues are completely shot. They're ancient, gotta be like 20 years old. Here we have that old horn setup and the 2 fog lights that we are not keeping on the car, and that has really cleaned up the front end. So we're gonna get a little benefit of cooling up front, a lot more radiator access there. So here's the leftovers. So the car did actually have a Viper alarm system. How cool is that? So that was in the car. Look at all the wiring associated with that. That's what the speaker was and all this other stuff. Boy, a nightmare. Most of the other wiring was simply audio related. So you can see this big old bird's nest. Look how much wiring is here. This is a weight reduction of at least 200 pounds, guys. In addressing our Miata's interior condition, let's just start with the center armrest center section here and just inspect how wonderful things are. Next up on the interior checklist is this old crash pad. It's a soft, kind of leather-coated part of the dash and the Miata that tends to crack. This one does have some mild cracking up here. So I actually sourced this one online. This company makes them specifically for the Miata, and you can see it has the blue stitching, which is gonna go well with our exterior color and the other interior touches we're doing. There we go, just like that, guys. Steering wheel removed from the Miata. You can see it snapped when I used my plastic hook. This is indicative that the old O-ring was really old, dried out. That's what rubber gaskets do. So good time to get that out of there. And we got a fresh one on our unit. Another time to get those old plugs out of there and put some new wires in as well. New PCV, new grommet, new holes installed. So yeah, this plastic, yeah, look at it. All nice and broken. I can put my thumb, I can feel it. It's like really easy to break. So yeah, we might just replace this part. But the bigger issue is all these hoses. You can see this air breather hose is cracked. radiator hoses are equally old and worn. So this is a great time, guys. Some of it isn't preventative. This is obviously something that needs to be repaired. But where they're not leaking, this is considered preventative maintenance to get the issue before it becomes a real issue. So it's gonna take a little while to build pressure. Remember, there's a ton of air in the system.